For Christine, and then ask a question. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Eric Lundgren. I live at 1201B Bayside Drive. And if I remember correctly, you said that the excavation would be halted during high winds.
Yes.
So what constitutes high winds when it's the wind's constantly windy?
My experience is 25 miles per hour of sustained wind. It's not a gust, but 25 miles per hour sustained. Ray, does that sound about right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question. Please come to the podium, or excuse me, the table with the microphone this time.
Would you be kind enough to video me?
By the way, next time we'll probably have a podium back. Tommy Jean tells me somehow that the podium that we normally have here is missing.
Over to that
So
chair.
we'll have to improvise for tonight. Thank you for understanding that. Okay.
Is this on? Can you hear me?
Hold on for 1
I
second.
don't see on.
Please try and speak up.
All right.
Thank you.
For the record, there should be an epidemiological, you can't hear me, you're going like that. Is it on? Your name.
Please state your name to begin with for Christine.
All right. I'm Carol Hardy. I'm a resident of the Marina, San Francisco resident, and neighbor of people at Treasure Island. For the record, there should be an epidemiological study made of the residents at Treasure Island, many of whom I personally know are ill from diseases that are directly connected with radiation contamination and chemical contamination. So, we need to have this. Somebody needs to put it in place. And if whoever's going to do it, the Navy, TIDA, the Public Health Department, needs to be done. Okay. Yes?
All right, I was going to say thank you. I thought you were,
No, I'm continuing.
okay.
I think it's interesting that Patricia McFadden is a munitions expert and that you're looking for munitions in the ground. You stated, Robert Beck, that you were going to bring over material from the Doyle Drive project. I live 3.5 blocks from the Doyle Drive project. There's unexploded munitions all over the Presidio and in the Doyle Drive project. So, you're going to bring that dirt over here and spread it on top of Treasure Island. There's also massive amounts of petroleum contamination.
Okay, Ms. Harvey, I've got to tell you that,
The question
to be
is-
respectful, specifically, where this is for Chris.
Patricia McFadden spoke
Okay.
about ordinance.
Well,
This
let-
is pertinent to her statements about ordinance.
Okay,
So,
on site 12?
Yeah.
wherever you have it here, yeah, and wherever you're looking for it, this is pertinent to
Okay.
ordinance.
As the presentation
Exploded-
stated, we're screening for it in one specific area in West Side. If you could go to that
Okay,
slide.
but it seems counterproductive to screen for the stuff here, and then when you build out the island, bring it over from the Doyle Drive project.
I don't know that to be the case at all.
Well,
Like
you
18.
said that it was. You said that dirt was coming from the Doyle Drive project, the Central City project, and the tunnel project. You said that on the van trip.
Okay, well, what does that have
So
to do
it's
with what you just
doesn't
said?
it seem counterproductive to check
Okay.
for munitions here and then bring, I talked to a supervisor in the Doyle Drive project who said that men come to them all the time. They find hand grenades in the dirt over there. They find missile-shaped things. They find cannonballs.
Cannonballs.
And yes, cannonballs from many different wars.
Okay, well,
And
thank
they
you.
bring in the bomb squads from Travis Air Force Base and San Francisco on a regular basis to defuse this stuff.
All
If
right,
you're
well,
gonna
that-
bring Doyle Drive dirt over here, that seems counterproductive. When you're looking for munitions in this soil that weren't even live.
Okay, Ms. Harvey, yeah, right. Thank you. So do
Thank
you
you.
want Patricia to respond to that, ma'am?
Yes, I'd like to
Okay.
know about that.
Okay,
Sure,
thank you.
I'll start with the first. I am by no means an expert. I just happen to have some project management
Oh, I
experience
looked at your
with.
background. You are an expert.
I always reserve the right to be wrong. So
And
I just have
that's
some.
wise, that's wise.
I just have some experience working with other Navy projects on munitions cleanup, and I participate in a Navy-wide group to discuss, these types of things. So in that sense, that's where I'm speaking from. In terms of what we found at Site 12, it's only inert things because the history here does not lead us to believe we'll find live material.
And I don't think either one of us, have you heard anything about?
And so I'll certainly look into the Doyle Drive. I'm out of interest as much as anything. But when we accept any soil, we're doing this precaution for the Navy just to have TIDA store the material on our base. And it's partly precaution because we know we will be party to any issues that come up down the road as well. But so we review extensive soil data for all the soil that TIDA stores currently and eventually plans to use as backfill on the island. So we look at that.
No, I'm talking about the build-out.
No, exactly, but what happens is they decide on a source for the soil. We actually always look at where they're getting it from. So even though it's Doyle Drive, there's lots of different parts of Doyle Drive. There's also lots of different depths. In the case of Doyle Drive, we only accepted it from a certain depth below the surface because of the potential for contamination closer to the surface. And they have to ensure that it's free of debris, any debris, much less munitions debris. And then they also have to test it and meet the Department of Toxic Substance Control clean soil standards. And we verify that. I actually personally verify that with every submission that they have to submit for every it's a certain amount of samples for every 500 or 5,000 cubic yards, I believe.
Bob Beck said it's certified clean dirt. Are you talking about the certifying process now? Who's the certifier?
So it involves, obviously, a few parties. I am one of the people that I look at the data and I look at the source information. Bob's has contractors that are reviewing it for TIDA's, ensuring their protection. And then the excavators that are digging it out have to ensure that it meets the standards as well. So it's tested, it's visually observed in the two levels and then reviewed from a data perspective on three of those levels.
And who signs off on the certification, on the certificate?
Well, there's no certificate per se, there's lab analysis.
Certified clean dirt.
So there's a lab analysis that Bob's contractor reviews. So he's signing a summary document that he's reviewed the data. He provides it to me. I review it and see that it meets all the, not just debris, but also mostly for chemical contaminants. And I review that and ensure that it's safe. And that's just for storage here. Bob is, of course, ensuring that it's safe for the use in the development. So.
Okay. They also have a large number of underground storage tanks all over the Presidio that are, by this time, rusty and leaking all kinds of petroleum into the soil. You should look into that. In addition to which, the freeway goes past their cars, a massive number of cars, and petroleum and all kinds of toxins can sink into the dirt.
Those are all the reasons why we only accepted the soil that was from a depth that was not part of that initial surface.
The cars comes down.
And that has to be part of the testing and
And the
such as well.
underground storage tanks, aren't they below that depth?
No. Underground storage tanks are typically in the top 10 feet, typically depending on the size. But yes.
But I think to summarize, it really is.
It's being well reviewed by not just the Navy, but by TIDA and their developer and contractors, and and we're ensuring that it meets the regulatory standards.
So Carol, think of it this way: wherever the soil comes from, okay, the Department of Substances Control, the state of California, has a standard template. You have to test to that in a registered, certified laboratory. Okay, so regardless of the activities that are on the site. Or where the site is, okay? For them to bring soil on, okay, as clean fill, it has to be tested. The gateway to pass to get approved is that testing. So whether you tell Patricia it's from point A or point B or point C, it's interesting to know that.
Yeah.
But the
You
deciding,
didn't know that?
please please let me finish. The deciding factor is the lab analysis. And that's really, and that's per the state of California. It also has to meet the rigorous standards she indicated of the city of San Francisco and our review as well before Mr. Beck's team would ever deposit any of the soil there. But again, let's not lose fact, the central focus here is that there is testing that is done. And that testing will either give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down as to whether it can be brought. It's important.
Then you shouldn't use any dirt from anywhere on the Presidio. The whole place is contaminated. I talked
Well, if that were the case-
to
if that were the case,
archaeologists
then
over there who verified
If
that.
that were the case, then the testing would easily show that,
Don't bother.
right?
Don't
The testing would
bother
show
testing
that.
it.
All
I
right.
can save you some money.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Appreciate it.
My final question is, where is the site where you take the contaminated dirt? Where do you take it? What's the name of it?
For what part of what project?
The Treasure Island.
Well,
Chris's
Yeah, so-
project.
You know, I don't have, Carol, I'll be honest, I don't have the exact name of the landfills. We've been distributing soil all across the state, even out to Utah and Idaho. It depends on the waste characterization, right? So if it's CalHaz, if it's class 2, there's different waste distinctions. So that depends on where it goes. There's Calumet City down by Bakersfield. There is a landfill out here in Pittsburgh, I believe, that we go to as well. Ray, do you happen to have any other names you want to go throw out? I don't. Yeah, that's in Utah. I don't have, but I can certainly get back.
Clovis, Utah for a while?
I don't remember saying Clovis, Utah or Idaho. That would be where other waste goes. So radiological waste goes out there. We don't use one landfill is what I'm trying to say. We use multiple landfills. So I don't have
Can you
the
give me a
names.
list of the names?
Certainly.
Thank you.
They'd be in our radiological, our record reports as well, if you don't want to look those up. But I can get you a list.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm going to take you up on your second question. I know I'm annoying. So is this, and not having answers. The issue, the only thing I really have to ask all of you to question yourselves, and you can answer me now, you can give me an explanation or what have you. Every site that you now have declared contaminated, our children have dug in, climbed in, walked through, including ourselves. So, you know, it's interesting to me that we're talking about putting barriers out there, and no offense, Dale, but it takes literally could take up to 10 years, depending on the person's immune system, to show any symptoms. It could be sooner. It depends on their status, their health status. An epidemiological study is absolutely necessary because you've closed these off, but you reopen them. Our children climb back in there. Okay, you have done nothing to stop people. You're professing to, but you've done nothing to stop people from being poisoned here. And Bob Beck has stated in TIDA meetings past that this area was not going to be able to be used for housing because it could never be completely cleaned up. And you are saying in this slideshow that you will clean up all of it. That's impossible. That's my statement, and that needs to be looked at. People need to be out of the way of this until you've cleaned it up. I do not have any lack of faith that you have good intentions, but your process needs to be reviewed and it needs to be changed, and we need to be protected.
all right, thank you.